Hello my friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Novella. Today is Friday and that means that I talk about something bookish. At the beginning of this week, Britta Bowler, the fabulous Britta Bowler, posted a video with a question. Do you just read or do you sometimes reread? And why do you reread and why don't you reread? And I thought that was a really interesting question. So here's my answer. Normally when I read, I don't reread. I mean, once I've read a book, I know how it goes and I know the phrases and the emotions, and yeah, I don't have the need to revisit it again. So it's like people who go on a trip. You have people who like to travel, but they always go to the same place and go then to the same restaurants and whatever, and just because they're used to it and it feels familiar and it feels cozy. For me, that's not that's rather a punishment than a joy. So I am the kind of wanderer, so I like to discover new things, new places, new books and new stories. So I don't have the habit to reread just because there's so much to read and there's so many fantastic stories out there in the world and I want to read as much as possible. But sometimes I make an exception, and the reason is because I read in two different languages. So my mother tongue is Dutch, and I also read in English, sometimes in French, and it happens that when I read a book in Dutch, but it's translated fiction from English or from French, and I really loved the story, then it happens that I reread the book, but in the original language. And vice versa. Sometimes it happens that I read a book in English, and then a couple of months later or a couple of years later, there's a Dutch translation. Then it happens, not always, but it happens that I reread the book just to make sure that I've captured everything, and then I really can enjoy a reread. Now, lately I've been reading a couple of books that I thought, I want to reread this one, like Moby, like the Memoirs of Hadrian, like Alkibiades by Ilja, Leonard, Pfeijffer. Those are books that are so rich in their language and so sometimes with lots of symbolism, especially Moby Dick, that I want to reread a particular book just to understand more. And I reread Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk for my real life reading club, and I discovered still a lot of things that I didn't capture the first time I read it. So I was happy to reread that. And but normally no, I especially books that I really enjoy, I won't reread because I want to keep the magic. Like one of my most favorite books is The Wall by Marlen Haushofer. That's the most beautiful book I've ever read, or maybe not, but it really hit home with me, and I don't want to reread it just to keep it special. So yeah, that's the reason why I reread and don't reread. There's so many books books. There's so many books I want to read. Like I read a lot, but I haven't read many classics. I haven't read the Iliad. I haven't read. There's so many classics that I haven't read. I have never read a Wharton or there's so many books that I still want to discover, and it's that, and there's so little time. So reading will be for a later part in life. I think that's possible. That when you are getting older, you just want to relive your youth in a way through books. But now, no, now is not yet the time. So yeah, that's it. What do you do? Do you like to reread? Do you never reread? Why do you reread? What's the reason why you don't reread? Let us know. It's always fun to hear. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.